Hi, my name is Bill Feely, and I'm the Executive Director of MSATP, and we're here for another edition of MSATP TV. Joining us today is Mark Raymond from USB, their merchant services provider. And Mark, you want to tell us about what it is that you all do?
Sure. My name is Mark Raymond. I'm from USB Payment Processing. We are a credit card processing company. We look to partner up with lots of different associations and banks. The MSATP we've partnered up with for probably about 5 or 6 years now. And we basically provide the processing for not only for the accountants and bookkeepers, but for their clients. So pretty much their business clients all take credit cards going through someone, whether it be their local bank, whether it be a provider like myself. The problem is that nobody provides the local support and service the way that we do. We've built this company over the last 26 years, providing support and basically making it sure that the client is number one in our book. So if you have a problem, if you have a concern, you're not calling an 800 number that goes to somewhere outside the country or wherever, and you're just getting basic service and the people don't know who you are and what you're calling about. All of our customer service comes to our office here. We don't believe in a call tree, so we have the phones ringing in about 9 different places in our office. As soon as you get on the phone, within 2 rings, someone's going to answer that phone and someone's going to provide you the service that you need. Whether you need help with a client that's standing right in front of you to be able to provide the machine's not doing what it's supposed to be doing, or the credit card processing, or you have a question or a concern, we're going to get you to the right person. So we want to be able to provide the best service for credit card processing for every business that's out there that takes any kind of form of payment. So whether you're a retail store, whether you're an accountant and you're doing transactions over the phone, whether you're a website and you need to be able to have a shopping cart or the ability to take payments online, whether you're a mail order house or whatever it is, we have the ability to be able to set you up to take credit cards and do it at the right way and make sure that when the transactions come in, you're being charged the least amount of fees possible. So that's kind of what we do in a nutshell.
You all have the reader that attaches to your cell phone,
Correct.
Like the Square type
Sure.
thing?
Well, Square is a company that's out there called an aggregator. They're actually not a true processor. So basically what we do is we provide that same service. We have a bunch of different types of readers that can attach to your cell phone, to your iPad, to your computer, whatever it might be. They can take all types of cards, whether it be a chip-based card, whether it be a magnetic stripe card, whether you want to tap it, whether you want to do Apple Pay off of your phone. All of our readers and all of our terminals can do that. We also have mobile terminals that look just like the ones that you would see in a retail store, but they're either 4G or they're Wi-Fi. So if you're working at a flea market or if you're delivering pizza and you want to be able to provide a receipt, an actual printed receipt, you can take these mobile terminals and bring them with you, swipe the card, chip the card, tap the card, and print the receipt for the customer right then and there. So it's a little bit more timely in getting the receipt. Or, of course, the receipts can always be emailed directly to the customers.
Okay. As far as the fees go, you were saying that Square is an aggregator rather than a processor. So I'm assuming that you're paying a third party or something like that additional fees. So people who use a Square might want to consider using you because you're going to be paying lower rates because you're cutting out that third person? Correct.
So what Square does, Square just has a flat rate. They start at 2.75, and they go up from there depending on how you do your transaction. Your banks do the same thing. So a lot of people think, well, I bank with Bank of America, I'm going to do my credit cards through Bank of America. And a lot of people don't realize that you don't have to do that. Banks have this available, especially the big banks have it available because they know they can make money on it. And they know that if they've given you a loan or if you're banking with them, the odds are you're probably going to talk to them about credit card processing, and they just set up their rates and they're not very competitive. Where we change the game is, first of all, we do the processing for about 10 of your local community banks, okay? Over 100 branches currently do their processing through us. And every day we're talking to new community banks and adding new banks. We're about to add a 26 location bank that's throughout Maryland. So basically, customers that go into these banks are now talking to us as opposed to the larger banks. You don't have to do your credit card processing through your larger bank. You can still bank with Bank of America or SunTrust or whoever it is, but the processing can go through us and still deposit into those banks. The reason you would want to do that is because when we bring the transactions through, we're actually looking at every transaction at every cost, and we're trying to make sure that the costs are actually put into place properly. What most of the banks do, most of our competitors do, is they're just shoving the transaction into a bucket, and whatever's the best bucket for the bank, and when I say a bucket, the cost structure, that's where they put the transaction into. What we do is we take the transactions, and in the Visa MasterCard world, there's about 400 different types of cards out there, right? So every card has its own transaction fee. Every card has its own interchange fee. If you take all those cards and you shove them into 3 buckets, you're never going to get the best pricing for you. The best pricing would be for the bank and for the processor. What we do is we actually take all of those transactions in every different type of card, and we put it directly into the correct bucket that it goes into. So the only one that benefits from it is the merchant. So now instead of you taking a card that should be at, let's say, 1.2%, and instead of it going into a bucket that's at 2.1%, because that's what's good for the bank, we're now taking that card and we're putting it into a bucket that goes into the 1.2. So you're paying true interchange. So you're not paying a boatload of money above and beyond just to take cards. That's what customers complain about all the time, is that they're paying such high rates. And the reason they're doing that is because banks do this purposely, because it's a moneymaker for them.
Okay. So if somebody was looking at setting up some sort of an account with you all, how would they go about getting in touch with you to get that established?
Well, they can either go through you guys and it could be forwarded to us directly, which we do all the time. We get referrals from the MSATP to contact this merchant or this accountant or this bookkeeper or whoever. They can contact us directly either through our website, which is www.usbne.com. They can call me directly at the office, 410-828-4286. They can even just send in their statements. If they have statements, we can actually take a look at their statements. We'll do a cost comparison for them, show them a side-by-side comparison of what they're paying currently with their processor and what they should be paying if they were going through us. And then they can decide whether they want to make the change or not.
Okay. If you were to look at averages, if someone switches from a Bank of America type thing to you, what kind of average savings would they be looking at?
Well, that varies from customer to customer, because you have customers that are processing, let's say, $1,000 a month, and then we have customers that are processing well into the millions. So on an average customer doing like between $5,000 and $10,000, we found the savings to be roughly about $90 to $100 a month and more. So it just depends. I have a pizza place that I'm looking at working with, and he does about $25,000 a month in processing. He's paying over $350 too much. So for him, over a year span, that's $4,000 or $5,000 that he's going to put in his pocket, and that's if he continues doing the same volume he's doing. If his volume goes up, he's going to save more money by going through us. He can still stay with his bank, because ultimately we don't want the checking account or savings account. We just want to be able to process the transactions for him, because that's what we do best.
Right. Because I know you process the transactions for us at the society, and the deposits get deposited into our account every day. So it's easy peasy, and there's no additional work on our part, like we have to send it into a separate bank account and then transfer it over or any of those kinds of things. So it really is a convenient service that you offer.
Correct. And a lot of the banks don't do, we do next day funding, so the money's available in 24 hours. A lot of the banks is 24 to 48 to 72 hours. So sometimes getting your money faster will actually allow you to run your business better, and you won't have any cash flow issues. So getting your money is pretty important. We found that especially in today's day with what we're dealing with in the outside world, everybody getting their money quickly and on time is pretty important to them keeping the doors open on a day-to-day basis.
Sure. Now, the fees for debit cards versus credit cards, is it much of a difference at all, or are the two of them basically the same?
Years ago, doing a PIN-based debit card was less expensive back when it first came out. In today's world, depending on the average ticket, depending on how you're doing the transaction, there's not that much of a difference between debit and credit. We don't see that much debit compared to what you're seeing on Visa and MasterCard.
Okay.
Visa and MasterCard dominate the industry, and even most of the debit and debit cards that you see are owned by Visa and MasterCard.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Mark, and I appreciate you joining us today, and look forward to our clients and our members getting in touch with you about services.
Yeah, if there's anything we can do, I mean, we have a ton of the MSAT members that are clients of ours already. I have a bunch of them that continuously send me business of their book of business, their retail clients and people that are taking credit cards. Anything we can do, we're more than happy to take, even if we're just taking a look and kind of steering them in the right direction. I want to be able to provide them a cost comparison that says, here's what you're paying, here's what you should be paying. And the worst case scenario is your best case scenario. I'm going to tell you, don't do a thing. There's no reason to move to us because you've got the best rates and fees available. The best case scenario is we're going to show you you're overpaying currently. If we move this, we can adjust things, and here's what your savings would be. All they have to do is provide me with 2 statements, and we can do a cost analysis and show them a side-by-side comparison. And it usually is very beneficial. It's rare that we can't do something for the merchants or for the clients.
Okay. Well, thank you very much again, and I hope you have a good day.
Bill, thank you for inviting me onto this, and we appreciate being a member and being a sponsor for you guys. And we look forward to getting back to some face-to-face events and being able to meet with everybody.
Yep. And we'll be seeing you at a seminar real soon.
You guys stay safe and healthy.
All right, you too.
Thanks, Bill. Have a good day.